Hello everyone and welcome to our virtual Dirshu share tonight. As I told you, I have a chasana tonight, so that's why I'm recording the share. I'll let you know when the share is posted. So we're holding on Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. We're near the beginning of Siman Taf Mem. We started the Siman, we read the Mechaber, and we did a little bit of the Mishnah Berurah. I'm going to start the Mechaber again from the beginning of Taf Mem, just so that we can recapture what we're speaking about, and then we'll pick up in the Mishnah Berurah where we left off. So, the Siman Taf Mem begins, Din Chametz Shaleni Yehudi Shehofkad Eitzel Yisrael. One of the halachas when the Chametz of a non-Jew has been entrusted to a Yid to watch. So a Yid has this Chametz that belongs to a non-Jew in his house. Ubay Dalet Seifim, says the Mechaber, Eina Yehudi Shehifkid Chametzai Eitzel Yisrael. You have a non-Jew who entrusted his chametz by a Yid for the Yid to watch it. So the Mechaber says, Imhu Chayiv B'Achar Yusai, if the Yid has responsibility for the chametz, Migneva Va'aveda, and he's responsible to pay for that chametz, should that chametz be stolen or should it become lost, then Bein Chuhu Bebeisai, whether the chametz is located in the Yid's house, Bein Chuhu B'chal Makom B'Reshusai, or whether it's not in the Yid's house, but it's somewhere else in his Reshus, it's somewhere else in his property, Chayiv Levaroi, the Yid has a responsibility to be Mevar that Chametz. He's not allowed to have that Chametz on his property on Pesach because he is obligated to watch it. And because he's obligated to watch it, should he keep it, since not obligated to watch it, since he has an obligation where he has a responsibility, should it become stolen or lost, he's going to have to pay for it. So since he's responsible for that chametz, if he would have that chametz in his property on Pesach, he would be over on Bal Yimotzei. And that's what the Mishnah Berurah told us yesterday. The Mishnah Berurah told us in Ois Katan Aleph that we have to balance two psukim. On the one hand, the Torah says, Sa'ar lo yimotzei bibatechem, no sourdough or any other kind of chametz should be found in your homes on Pesach. And in that pasuk, it makes no mention of ownership. It doesn't say lecha. It doesn't say that the chametz has to be yours. It just says that sourdough or chametz should not be found in your property. So from that pasuk alone, it sounds like it has nothing to do with ownership. You can't have chametz in your property. On the other hand, we have another pasuk. We have another pasuk that says lo yera'el lecha. Chametz should not be seen, but that's chametz that's lecha, chametz that's yours. So from that pasuk, it seems that the only time chametz is a problem is if there's ownership. So the Mishnah Berurah told us that we balance those two psukim, and what comes out is you could have chametz that's not yours that you are chayiv for. There's chametz that's not yours that you're not allowed to have in your house. What chametz is that? That's chametz that belongs to somebody else, but you have a responsibility for it. If you're financially responsible for that chametz, that should it become stolen or lost, you're going to have to pay, then by virtue of that responsibility that you carry for the chametz, that makes the chametz enough yours. And therefore you would be over on Bal Yimotzei if you would have that chametz in your house on Pesach. So that's why the Mechaber told us, if a non-Jew gives you chametz to watch, and it's in your house or it's on your property, and you're financially responsible for that chametz should it become stolen or lost, then you're not allowed to have it. You would be over on Bal Yimotzei. So then by the Zman Biur, you would have to get rid of it. You'd have to get it out of your house. Now, let's pick up the Mishnah Berurah on Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. Mishnah Berurah Ois Katan Gimel is where we're up to. The Mechaber had said it doesn't matter if the chametz is located in your house or b'chal makom b'reshusai, or it's anywhere else in your property. Says the Chavetz Chaim, va'afilu hiskir oy hishuloi makom b'fnei atzmai lachametzai bebeisai oy b'chatzeroi. Even if you leased or you loaned an area of your property to the non-Jew for his chametz. So it's not just that you have a loaf of bread that you're watching for the non-Jew. The non-Jew gave you 10 cases of macaroni to watch for him, and you said, you know what, I have a storage room downstairs in the basement. I'm going to lease you that storage room. I'm putting your 25 cases of macaroni in that storage room downstairs, and I'm leasing you that place. Nami loy mahani im kibul olav achrayis. If the bottom line is that you have the financial responsibility for that macaroni, because if it becomes stolen or lost, you're going to have to pay for it, you're still not allowed to have it in your basement. The kaimalon, because we paskin schirus loy kanya. This is a machlokes that we have in the Gemara. When you lease a place in your house to somebody else, do we say that he gets ownership of the place that he's leasing or not? And we come out that schirus loy kanya. When you lease him that storage room in the basement, that storage room does not become his. And therefore, v'im kain, hare munach hachametz bebeisai shel Yisrael. So, the bottom line is that it's very nice that you are miyachid makom for the macaroni. It's very nice that you set aside an unused storage room in your basement for the macaroni of the non-Jew, but the bottom line is that storage room still belongs to you, so the chametz is still in your property, and you're still financially responsible for that chametz, and therefore that chametz is considered enough yours that you would be over on Bal Yimatzeh, and therefore you got to be mevared this chametz. You got to get it out of your house. You got to destroy it before this man beer. However, the Chavetz Chaim continues, and he does say, "Bidi evet." Let's say you were miyachid makom for the macaroni. You did set aside a place in your house, and again, set aside a place means you either lent it to him or you leased it to him, but you gave him a place. You told the non-Jew, "I'm giving you the storage room in the basement for the macaroni." So b'di'eved, if you did that, and then you kept the chametz in your house over Pesach, mekamokim b'di'eved im hisha etzlei chametz ad lachar Pesach, if you kept that chametz by you through Pesach, yesh lismaich ala paiskim, you could rely on the paiskim, the sviralahu who hold, the heicha shemiyachad le makom lechametzai, Einoi over b'bal Berurah, that when you're miyachid makom for a non-Jew's chametz in your house, you're not over bal Berurah, av shekibel olav achrayis, even though you're responsible for that chametz. So the Mishnah Berurah is letting us know over here that there is a machlokes. There are shittas that hold if you're miyachid makom for the non-Jew for his chametz and you lend him or lease him a room for the chametz, there are those opinions that hold that you're not over on Bal Yimatzeh. Now, we don't paskin that way. We paskin that you would be over. You went ahead and you kept the chametz in your house over Pesach in contravention of halacha. Now we're going to see later on, now there's a potential problem of chametz she'avar lava Pesach. Now you're wondering, chametz she'avar lava Pesach, one second, this chametz belongs to a guy. Yeah, it's true that this chametz belongs to a guy, but you kept this chametz in your property, carrying a financial responsibility for it over Pesach, and you did that in contravention of halacha. So now, there are those opinions that hold that this chametz would become aser b'hana. Some hold it's aser b'hana for you, some hold it's aser b'hana for any yid. There are those shittas that hold that this chametz becomes aser b'hana as chametz she'avar lava Pesach. However, what the Chavetz Chaim is telling me over here is, b'di'eved, if you did keep that chametz in your house, we're not going to aser it as chametz she'avar lava Pesach if you are miyachid makom for that chametz, because we would rely on the paiskim that say, if you're miyachid makom, you're not over on Bal Berurah, Bal Yimatzeh. Why do these shittas, why do these opinions hold that if you're miyachid makom for the chametz, you're not over on Bal Berurah, Bal Yimatzeh? Because in order to be over Bal Berurah, Bal Yimatzeh, the chametz has to be matzui tachas yadai shel Yisrael. It has to be under the control of a yid, kipikadain ba'alma, like a normal pikadon, shehu tachas rishusai l'taltal ulhaniach b'chol pina sharoitza. Normally, when somebody gives you something to watch, somebody comes over to your house and he says, "Look, I'd like you to watch this for me for a month while I fly off to Eretz Yisrael." You're mekabel achrayis for the item. You take it, and now, as long as it's in your rishus and it's under your care, If you want, you could keep it somewhere in the living room in the break front, and then if you decide that you have to move it downstairs for safekeeping, you could move it downstairs. Then if guests are coming and you want to take it out of the guest room where you put it, you could bring it back upstairs. So normally a pikadon is matzoi tachas yodcha. It's under your control and you can do with it what you will. Not, you can't use it, but as far as taking care of it, you can move it here, you can move it there. Now, over here with this chametz of the non-Jew, if you were miyachid makom, if you designated a place for that chametz to be, that means that you told the non-Jew, the chametz is staying over there. I am leasing you a room in the basement, and that's where your macaroni is staying. Now the chametz is not really under your control anymore. Your obligation to the non-Jew is, you had an upmach with him, you made up with him that you're leasing him a room and that's where his macaroni is staying. These opinions hold that takes the chametz enough out of your control that even though you're financially obligated for that chametz, it's not considered enough yours that you should be over by Berurah, by your matzeh. So again, this gets a little complex and I don't want to lose track of what we're saying. We have one machlokes over here like this. We have a machlokes. We said that if you take the chametz of a non-Jew and you're financially responsible for that chametz, if it gets lost or it gets stolen, you're going to have to pay for it. You're not allowed to have that chametz by you on Pesach because it's enough yours to be over by Berurah, by your matzeh. Now we brought up the question, how about if you're miyachid makom for the chametz? How about if you made up with the non-Jew that you're lending or leasing a room to him in the basement and that's where his macaroni is staying? Does that help? Are you then allowed to keep it in your house on Pesach? And we have two opinions. We have one opinion that says no. Yichud makom does not help. Why does Yichud makom not help? Because we paskin schirus like Kanya. When you lease him the room in the basement, that room does not become his. That room is still yours. Therefore, the chametz is still in your house, and you're still financially responsible for it. So being miyachid makom doesn't help. You're still not allowed to keep it in your house. However, we have a dissenting opinion that holds that Yichud makom does help. We don't paskin that way. We paskin Yichud makom does not help. Now the question becomes, okay, Yichud makom doesn't help, but you went ahead and in contravention of halacha, you kept the goy's chametz in your house over Pesach. Now we want to know, is there a problem of chametz she'avar alav Pesach? That's a separate machlokes, whether or not there is a problem of chametz she'avar alav Pesach. But even according to the opinion that holds that when you keep a goy's chametz in your house to watch over Pesach, there is a problem of chametz she'avar alav Pesach. How about if you were miyachid makom for that chametz? Says the Chavetz Chaim, if you were miyachid makom for the chametz and you kept it in your house over Pesach, we're not going to aser it as chametz she'avar alav Pesach, even according to the opinion that there is a problem of chametz she'avar alav Pesach in this case. We're not going to aser this chametz as chametz she'avar alav Pesach because we're going to rely on the opinion that holds, the opinion that we don't paskin like, but we're going to rely on the opinion that holds that Yichud makom allows you to keep the chametz in your house, and therefore you didn't do anything shalaik halacha, you weren't over by Berurah, by your matzeh, and therefore it's not aser as chametz she'avar alav hapesach. Okay. If they atzmar le mikri matzeh, umutar hachametz lecha v'leihanos mimenu, and therefore b'diavad, if you kept it in your house over Pesach after you were miyachid makom for it, it wouldn't be aser as chametz she'avar alav hapesach. Now the Chavetz Chaim says, the yichud makom mikri. When we talk about yichud makom, that you were miyachid makom for the goy's chametz, what does that mean? Kishe miyachid loy b'fanav bayis oy cheder oy zavis b'seich beisai b'schirus oy b'she'ela. When we talk about yichud makom, you have to understand that yichud makom means that this is the upmach that you made with the non-Jew. It's not just that the non-Jew gave you 10 cases of macaroni, dropped it off in your driveway, said, watch it for me, and then he left, and then you put it in a room in the basement. No. Yichud makom means that in front of him, when he dropped the chametz off by you, you made up with him, I am lending or leasing a room in the basement to you, and that's where the macaroni is staying. Avalim kibol mimenu pikadon b'li yichud makom. But if you accepted the chametz as a pikadon without being miyachid makom, And then later you went ahead and designated a place for the chametz without the knowledge of the non-Jew, loy mahani. That's not considered yichud makom, and therefore, if you were miyachid makom in that way, without the knowledge of the non-Jew, and you kept the chametz in your house over Pesach, then there would be a problem of chametz shavar lava Pesach. Why? Who said that the non-Jew was agreeable to this yichud makom that you did? Maybe the non-Jew has no interest in you going ahead and sticking his 10 cases of macaroni downstairs in an added-away storage room. He wants to know that those 10 cases of macaroni that he gave you to watch are somewhere around in your rishus where you're going to see them and you're going to take care of them. So maybe he's not agreeable to this. Even if you took the 10 cases of macaroni and you didn't stick them downstairs in the storage room, but you erected some kind of a mechitza around it, that was your attempt at being miyachid makom for his chametz, that also doesn't work. You didn't make up with him that you're going to be miyachid makom, and therefore your yichud makom after the fact doesn't accomplish anything. So this was a little bit of a complex piece of Mishnah Berurah over here. But again, the point over here is, if you have chametz of a non-Jew in your property that you're financially responsible for, you're not allowed to do that over Pesach. You would have to be mevar that chametz, because it's enough yours that you're not allowed to have it. Even if you're miyachid makom for it, we still hold that you're not allowed to do it, because you're still financially responsible. You're not allowed to have that chametz in your house. What constitutes yichud makom? You have to make it up with the guy, and you have to lend it to him or lease it to him. The only benefit that we get out of yichud makom is that if you did take a pekadon of chametz from the guy, and you were miyachid makom with him when you took it, and you kept it in your house over Pesach, which you were not allowed to do, we're not going to answer it as chametz over lava Pesach. Okay, ois katan daled. So the Mechaber said, you're not allowed to have this chametz in your house on Pesach, and therefore chayiv levaroi. You have to be mevar this chametz. Says the Mishnah Berurah is katan daled, b'shah shegias man habir, when the zman habir comes around on erev Pesach, imeino akum kand, if the non-Jew is not around, sheyachziru lai, so that you could return the chametz to him, then you have no choice. You have to be mevar that chametz. So the non-Jew left you 10 cases of macaroni to watch. If he's around on Erev Pesach before the Zman HaBiur, you could call him up and say, Tony, I got to give you your 10 cases of chametz back. If he's not around and you have no way to return it, you have no choice. You have to be mevar this chametz the same way you have to be mevar any other chametz that you have. You have to burn it, you have to be matalit liyam, but you got to do biur chametz on it. You got to get rid of it. Now, the Chavetz Chaim has an interesting question. V'im mahani bazeh bittul umechira kamoi b'chametz shaloi. How about the two tricks that you would normally do with your own chametz? Some people do sell chametz gomor. You have chametz in your house that you don't want to be mevar, so you sell it to a non-Jew. We also do bittul, right? We mevatel our chametz. Does bittul or mechira help with these 10 cases of macaroni that belong to the non-Jew? So over there the Chavetz Chaim says, Yesh deos ba'achroinim, there are differing opinions amongst the achroinim. Tahar be'mehem svira lehu, many of the achroinim hold to loy mahani, that bittul or mechira would not help. Kevichain gufa chametz shaloi, because this chametz does not belong to you. What does that mean that you're going to do mechira or bittul? You're going to sell chametz? It's not your chametz, it's Tony's chametz. It's Tony's 10 cases of macaroni. You're watching them. You're financially responsible should they get lost or should they get stolen. You're going to sell the 10 cases of macaroni, they're not yours to sell. You're going to be mevatel them? How could you be mevatel them? According to most achroinim, how does bittul work? Bittul works when you declare your chametz to be ownerless. You can't declare this chametz to be ownerless. You don't own it. Tony owns it. So what's mechira or bittul going to do? So many achroinim hold that mechira or bittul is not effective over here. However, there are many other achroidim who are mekel, and they hold that mechira or bittul would work. Ayin b'sefer stei chemed. The Chametz Chaim tells you to look in the Sefer stei chemed b'ma'areches chametz u'matzah under the category of chametz u'matzah, Siman Hey Ois Lamed Gimel, where the stei chemed brings down all the differing opinions over here. Now, the opinion that holds that you could do mechira or you could do bittul, it seems that the way they understand it is, why is this chametz considered yours in the context of being over bal yirah bal yamatzeh? Because you have a financial responsibility for it. Well, theoretically, you could be mevatel that financial responsibility. In other words, what you could do is, you could say, this chametz is mine because should it get lost or should it get stolen, I carry a financial responsibility to pay for it. You know what? I'm being mevatel the whole thing. I don't care about it. I don't care about the financial responsibility. I don't care if it comes back to haunt me. I'm giving up on the whole thing. Mechira, the way mechira would work is, yeah, it belongs to the guy, but what I'm doing is I'm taking ownership of it and I am selling it, and I'll have to replace it to the guy. So that's kind of a very lightweight outline of the differing opinions of the Achronim here. Olafi das Magen Avram b'sif katan aleph yesh takana. The Magen Avram in Sif Katan Aleph of this Siman does give you a way to get out of the problem of Bal Yirah, Bal Yamatzeh with this chametz. So you have the 10 cases of macaroni on Erev Pesach. Tony's not around. You can't give it to him. We're saying that bittul and mechira, according to most achronim, don't work. So what can you do? Says the Magen Avram, there is something you could do. Sheyachzar v'yafkidoi biyad akum acher. What you could do is, you could take it and you could give it to another non-Jew to watch. You can't sell it to a non-Jew because it's not yours. But what you can do is you can go over to another non-Jew and you can tell him, look, I'm watching Tony's 10 cases of macaroni and I'm responsible for Gneva V'Aveda. I can't have it in my house on Passover. So I'm giving Tony's 10 cases of macaroni to you to watch. And you undertake the responsibility for now. And if there's a problem, so we'll deal with it after Passover. But right now, you undertake the responsibility instead of me. Or what you could do is, you have the 10 cases of macaroni in your guest house, sell the guest house to the non-Jew, and now the non-Jew undertakes the responsibility for Gneva V'Aveda. So either way, what the Magen Avram is suggesting is, he's suggesting that you shift the financial responsibility of the Gneva V'Aveda, you shift it in some way to another non-Jew. And again, this is a matter of dispute whether or not you could do this. The Magen Avram suggests that you can. The reason to say that you can't is because the bottom line is, at the end of the day, when Tony's 10 cases of macaroni get destroyed or lost or stolen, he's not coming to the second non-Jew to levy his claim. He's going to levy his claim against you. So there's really no way for you to unload that responsibility. Bottom line is, Tony's coming to you. Even if you unloaded the responsibility to another non-Jew, and now you'll go collect from Vinny, but the bottom line is, Tony's collecting from you. So many argue on the Magen Avram and say that they don't see how you could really do this. Says the Mishnah Berurah, v'hanachain, if you're stuck, what should you do? V'hanachain, it would be proper, sheyase shneim, you should do both ideas over here. The hainu, that is, mechiras habayis, sell the house that the chametz is in, and sell that to a non-Jew, v'gam mechiras hachametz, and also rely on the opinions that hold that you could sell the non-Jew's chametz to another non-Jew. So the Chametz Chaim suggests cover your bases and do both. Ois katan hey, the Mechaber said, chayiv levaro, you chayiv to be mavar, to destroy this chametz. V'im avar, and now the Chametz Chaim is going to discuss this question of chametz she'avar alav Pesach, which we alluded to in Ois Katan Gimel. Is there a problem of chametz she'avar alav Pesach? Tony gave you the 10 cases of macaroni to watch. You're responsible for it. You are not allowed to keep it in your house over Pesach. You did keep it in your house over Pesach. Now, is there a problem of chametz she'avar alav Pesach? Now, let's remember that the Issur D'Rabbanan of chametz she'avar alav Pesach is typically a knas. It's a penalty for the person who was over on Bal Yirah, Bal Yamatzeh. Somebody kept chametz in his property in contravention of halacha over Pesach, so we penalize him and we make an Issur D'Rabbanan that chametz is aser b'hana after Pesach. Now, over here, what happened? You didn't have chametz that belonged to you in your house. You had chametz that belonged to Tony in your house. But since you are financially responsible for it, you are not allowed to keep it in your house. Now we're going to think about asering this chametz bahana midrabanan, because we're going to penalize you for going against halacha and keeping Tony's chametz in your house. That's the question over here. It's a little bit interesting because it's not even your chametz; it's Tony's chametz. But we're going to aser it bahana. Okay, says the Chavetz Chaim. V'im avar v'loy biaroi v'avar alava pesach. Let's say you were over on this halacha and you kept this chametz in your house over Pesach. Das harbe poiskim da aser ba'achilo ubahana k'may chametz shel Yisrael she'avar alava pesach. There are many shittas that hold that this chametz becomes aser b'hana as chametz she'avar alav pesach. It becomes aser al chametz she'avar alav pesach. You have a Magen Avram, a Pri Chadash, a Shagis Aryeh, a Chemed Moshe, a Graz, a Beis Meir. So you have a lot of shittas over here who hold that we are going to aser this as chametz she'avar alav pesach. Umikamakam, however, in ba oisei anachri achar Pesach, now Tony comes after Pesach and he wants his 10 cases of macaroni back. Rashoy lahachzer le'achametz. You're allowed to return the chametz to him. What would the potential problem of returning the chametz to Tony be? It's not aser ba'anah to Tony. Tony's a non-Jew. Tony could eat the macaroni all day long. He could have eaten it on Pesach also. So there's no problem with that. But the potential problem is, let's remember, you carry a financial responsibility for that macaroni. So if Tony would come back after Pesach to collect his macaroni, and you would tell him, I'm sorry, Tony, it got lost or it got stolen, you would have to pay $100 for the macaroni. Now, when Tony comes back after Pesach and you actually give him the macaroni, in essence, you're saving yourself $100. So why don't we say that if the macaroni is aser b'hana as chametz she'avar alav pesach, so then what right do you have to save yourself $100 by giving Tony the macaroni? Maybe you're not allowed to give Tony the macaroni. Says the Chavetz Chaim, no, that's not a problem. You're allowed to give Tony back his macaroni. We don't look at it that you're paying a debt and you're being nene from this chametz she'avar alav pesach. And the reason for that is because that's really not what's happening. You don't owe Tony $100. Tony's macaroni is in your house. Tony is allowed to come and collect his macaroni whenever he wants. You don't have to shut the door and tell Tony, nope, you can't go ahead and take your chametz and incur a $100 debt. I'm not saving myself $100 by giving Tony the macaroni back. I don't owe Tony anything. Tony's macaroni is sitting here. Tony wants to collect it, let him collect it. I only have a debt if it was stolen or it was lost. Then I owe him $100. But it wasn't stolen and it wasn't lost. So let Tony come and collect it, and I'm not going to stop him. Now we come to another interesting question. Hold it. There's another potential problem over here. You're watching 10 cases of macaroni for Tony. Tony owns a local grocery store. Many Yidden purchase chametz in that local grocery store. So, you're watching Tony's macaroni. Tony wants his macaroni back after Pesach, and he wants to sell it to the local Jews. Now, I have to worry that a Yiddish person is going to buy the macaroni, and he's going to be nene from this macaroni that's really chametz she'avar alav pesach and aser ba'ana. So says the Chavetz Chaim, in a place where you have to worry that Tony is going to come and take his macaroni back, and then he's going to sell it to a Yid, and now a Yid is going to be over on being nene from chametz she'avar alav pesach. There are those that say, there is room to say that you're not allowed to return it to him. Now, the Ksav Sefer, I know, is chaylik on this. The Ksav Sefer says that this whole question of whether the chametz becomes aser ba'ana after Pesach as chametz she'avar alav pesach is only germane to the person who was over on the halacha and kept it in his house. but it doesn't apply to anybody else. That's what the Seif says. But from this Mishnah Berurah, you see it's not that way. You see that the Chametz Chaim held that it would be usher to everybody. But the Chametz Chaim does continue, and he says, "V'yesh mekilin beikar din zeh." But there are those that take issue with this entire din, and they hold that there is no isser of chametz she'avar alav Pesach on this chametz. These shittas hold that the only isser of chametz she'avar alav Pesach is on a yid that kept his own chametz in his house on Pesach, not by a goy's chametz. The Isser of Chametz she'avar alav Pesach does not apply to a goy's chametz that's in a Yiddish house. And certainly we could rely on these opinions when it comes to the question of Isser Hana on this chametz. Okay, now we go to the Ramah. We go back to the Ramah on Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. Hagah. So we said that this non-Jew was mafkid the chametz by you. He gave the chametz to you to watch. You have a financial responsibility for it. Therefore, you have to be mevaret. Hagah, says the Ramah, va'afilu chazar ve'ifkidoi biyad eina Yehudi acher. Even if you want to be cute and you want to take Tony's chametz and you want to give it to Vinny to watch. Now, if you remember, we said that according to the Magen Avram, you're allowed to do this. The Ramah says clearly over here that you're not allowed to do this. You have Tony's chametz. Don't think that you're going to get away of your chiyuv to be mevar the chametz by turning around and giving it over to Vinny. Says the Mishnah Berurah back on Yud Aleph Amud Aleph, a nice cut and vav. Va'afilu chazar v'hifkidoi. That's not going to work, says the Ramah. Sharei hu kishaloi, because this chametz, the whole basis for the isser that we said over here since the beginning of this Siman, the whole basis why it's usher for you to keep Tony's macaroni in your house is because we're considering it that to a certain extent that macaroni is your macaroni because you carry a financial responsibility for it. Says the Chavetz Chaim, Sharehu kishaloi, because we're viewing this macaroni as if it's yours. Mikevan shekibel alav achrayis, since you have the financial responsibility for it. V'imkein havalei kemafkid chametzoi biyad nachri, the aser. So essentially, what did you do? You have chametz that we're considering to belong to you, and you want to keep it in your house on chametz based on the fact that you're giving it, so to speak, to a guy to watch. Now you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to take chametz that you own. You're not allowed to take all of your bread on Erev Pesach, give it to your goyish neighbor and say, here, watch this for me over Passover. Not allowed to do that. Kamavur b'sif dalet. Even if you'll go to Vinny and you'll tell Vinny, look, Vinny, I'm watching 10 cases of macaroni for Tony. I'm responsible if they get lost or stolen. I got to pay Tony. I want to give the macaroni to you. You watch it, and I'm asking you, do me a favor. You take on the responsibility that I had. You become responsible to Tony. If it gets lost or stolen, you're going to take care of Tony, not me. I want you to do me this favor so that I don't have a Passover problem. Says the Chavetz Chaim, even so, that doesn't work. Even if the second guy, even if Vinny is going to undertake all of the responsibility that you previously had, it's still prohibited. Because like I told you earlier, you're not really unloading your responsibility to Tony. When Tony comes looking for the macaroni after Pesach, who is he coming to? He's not coming to Vinny, he's coming to you. So he's going to come to you looking for his macaroni. You're going to say the macaroni is gone if something happened to it. Tony's going to say, pay up. Now you maybe will go to Vinny and maybe you'll collect from Vinny. Good luck. But Tony is not collecting from Vinny. Tony's going to collect from you. So you didn't really unload your responsibility. V'yesh b'kilun bazeh. However, the Chavetz Chaim says there are those who are mekel and hold you can do this. And if you look in the Sharetzi Ice Cut Tezvav, that's the Magen Avram that we've been mentioning. And why are they mekel? Came to become Makayim Gufa Chametz Ein Shalai, because let's remember what we're talking about over here. We're talking about chametz that doesn't really belong to you. V'gam Einoi Bebeisai, and now if you gave it over to Vinny, it's not even in your house anymore. V'imisham the kibul olav achrayis the gneva va'aveda, and if you want to base the whole prohibition over here on the fact that you still carry an obligation of gneva va'aveda, harei kenegda kibul akam hasheni al atzmai. But the bottom line is, Vinny was makabel the achrayis of gneva va'aveda. So it's very murky over here what to pin the isser on. So that's why the Magen Avram is mekel. Uladaitam huadin keshamachar acheder chachametz munach by la'akum. According to the Magen Avram, it would also work if not. You didn't take the chametz out of your house and bring it to Vinny's house. You took the storage room in the basement and you sold it to Vinny together with the chametz that's in it. Gam kein shari im ha'akam hazeh kibul olav achrayis shel gneva va'aveda. According to the Magen Avram, if Vinny would undertake the responsibility of the gneva va'aveda, this would work. Now, the wording of the Ramah was very precise. The wording of the Ramah was that it's usher even if you gave over